Ow. What's up, everyone? Punchy back with Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 2, Watanagashi. And what a place to leave it on. We just found out from Ooishi that she and Sonozaki's disappeared. Obviously, we knew nothing about that. And eager to see where this is going. She disappeared? That's impossible. I unintentionally raised my voice, but I didn't care about that. Tomitake-san died, Takano-san died, and Shion disappeared? When did she disappear? What is this guy talking about? Oh, well now, I thought you were long since aware of this. This is the first I've heard of it. Shion disappeared? When? Well, going back a bit, she disappeared the day after Watanagashi. Going back a bit? Disappeared the day after Watanagashi? Stop saying stuff I don't understand. She and Sonozaki spends the night at relative's house depending on her mood on any given day, so no one thought much of not knowing where she was. She frequently takes days off from school too. Her teacher has been pretty troubled by it. I didn't ask about any of that. I'm asking when Shion disappeared. I told you it was the day after Watanagashi. That can't be right. When did we talk to her? The fluids in my body all reversed direction. I lost my sense of balance, and everything I could see started to warp and twist out of shape. Or go negative. I simply couldn't endure it. Hang on. Shion had already disappeared? Then that night, that phone call. Who was that? Oh, goosebumps. I didn't think about that. I thought it was still Shion. I didn't think that Shion was actually gone. She called me every night. She encouraged me. We vowed that we would do our best to live on and not be erased. Yes, that should have been a phone call with Shion. She took breaks from class like it was nothing, and her family would listen when I told them, so I didn't bother calling the school in the end. So it ended up taking quite a while before we realized she'd disappeared. I felt a stabbing pain like needles being pushed into every pore of my body. It started on my back and began spreading throughout the rest of me. When it had completely covered the surface of my skin, it began to worm its way into my stomach as well. Don't you remember? We talked at the library the day after Watanagashi. Oh yeah, Shion-san was there then. That was the last we saw of her. No one knows where she'd been since. That can't be. That day, Ooishi-san had only caught me, and Shion bounded away, lying that she needed to go to work. Didn't she call me that night? Her job was at a restaurant called Angel Mort, right? She hasn't been there since that day. She's been completely absent ever since. The person at the restaurant couldn't get in touch with her. He was really worried. That can't be. It can't be. It's only circumstantial evidence, but after she left us at the library, but before she made it to work, I think it's appropriate to consider her having disappeared during that time. Right after Shion ran away without me? It seems that you didn't know. Maybe if you had said something earlier, this would have gone more quickly. Now you understand, right? You're the only one left. You're the only survivor of the 4 who slipped into the ritual storehouse. What if we said something earlier? He's the one with the info. It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. If something happens, it would happen to you. I need you to understand that, Mirabara-san. It can't be. It can't be. It can't be. Shion had already disappeared? That couldn't be. It couldn't be. I talked to her that day, the day before yesterday. I talked to her last night. She was going to call me again today. That was Shion on the phone. Shion on the phone. It was from Shion. From Shion. Shion has long since disappeared. Next will be you. Then, who was on the phone those past nights? Who was on the phone those past... Okay, nah, Punchy, I'm... Get a hold of yourself, man. You gotta know when you start repeating things, you're going mad. Yeah. That's... It can't be! That's crazy. I literally, I thought maybe Shion was hiding or something. Not that it wasn't Shion. Oh, Jesus. I laid down on the couch and stayed there dazed for a while. My mind was completely blank. I couldn't think of anything for more than a few seconds. There was a note in my house saying that Mom and Dad would be home late and that I should have some ramen or something for dinner. Oh no. Well, if there is anything left from the first one, it's when Mom and Dad aren't home at night. I could make whenever I got hungry, but I had no appetite, so I just stared blankly at the ceiling without eating anything. The hands of the clock were already pointed at 10. Would I get another phone call like that today? Even though Shion had already disappeared, would she still call me? Where were they calling from, and who were they? Well, there's only one person that could sound like Shion, and that's Mion, Punchy. The more I thought about it, the more I started to tremble. I even thought about just disconnecting the phone line. If I had been thinking a little less logically, I really would have done it too. Hold on, Punchy Maribara. Ooishi-san admitted himself, didn't he? That Shion went missing a lot? Couldn't she have just gone to relatives that Ooishi-san didn't know about and would have been there ever since? Well, she would have still gone to Angel Morgue though. Shion and I were both being targeted by somebody, so it wouldn't be strange to think she went somewhere she usually didn't in order to hide. That must have been why Ooishi-san couldn't locate her, and why he labeled her as a disappearance. Yeah, that had to be it. Shion had disappeared at all. Then my right hand moved on its own volition and slapped me on the cheek. That's a real slap, by the way. Kinda hurt. Its cold sting let me calm down a little. Don't just convince yourself of the most convenient possibility, Punchy Maribara. I knew I didn't want to admit she had disappeared. Admitting it would mean that something terrifying was definitely happening. I just needed to figure out whether Shion was the one on the phone or not. Would I ask her if she was actually Shion? That seemed like an incredibly absurd thing to do. Still, don't run from this, Punchy. Yeah, he's bucking up. If the person on the other end still believed that I thought she was Shion, then that gave me a tiny advantage. Casually, completely casually, I will listen to what she had to say, and fend her off. I would tear the skin off the monster. It would definitely be really scary for me. However, as the last survivor of the people who went into the storehouse that night, this was my duty to perform. Still, then who'd call me and pretend to be Shion? I may have only heard her over the phone, but her voice shouldn't be that easy to replicate. Punchy! Come on, man. That was definitely Shion's voice. It sounded just like her. It could have only been Shion. There was someone though, wasn't there? Yes. Someone who sounded just like Shion. Mion. Who else could have done this? At this point, seriously, after all this time, all those little things that didn't quite make sense without Mion until now overwhelmed my mind. Like being questioned about sneaking into the ritual storehouse, how she shook the ladder while spouting curses. Who else could have? Why though? Why Mion? I thought back to the things about the Sonozaki family that I had heard from Ooishi-san and Shion. Mion was always entangled in the incidents, in a position where she was omnipotent. omnipotent. Some of that information included that Shion had told me after she disappeared. I madly scratched in my head. Courage. Give me the courage. Just a little bit of courage to pick up the phone. I know it will ring tonight. It would be so easy to run away. That, though, would be the same as making it easy for them to erase me. Yeah, Punchy. I cannot run. I must stand it up and face it. After all, the next sacrifice would definitely be me. I was sure Shion would use tricky words to try and trap me. Be careful, be careful. I'm scared. I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. Oh, there it is. At that point, it rang. The phone rang, and I didn't know where the call was coming from. Sheena disappeared. Disappeared a long time ago. Disappeared the night after Watanagashi. Yet, until today, she had been calling me like nothing happened. Now, again, tonight. The people that had disappeared, the corpses simply haven't been found. I really didn't think they were alive. So if it were really Shion on the other end, then did that mean she was calling me from another world? Punchy, get real! Although I say get real, we're dealing with people who believe that there's demon blood in them and go crazy. Of course, that couldn't be. A living being was calling me, pretending to be Shion. Shion was long gone, and yet, as though she were alive and well, and also, they were really waiting for us to pick up. The phone continued its incessant ringing. I didn't want to pick up if I didn't have to. I had just concluded, though, that not doing so wouldn't solve anything. Then, what would I do after I answered it? Would I immediately declare she wasn't Shion and ask who she was? Alternatively, would I pretend I was still fooled and try to grab her by the tail? That would probably be the safest thing to do. What I was most afraid of was what the person would do when she realized I knew she wasn't Shion. However, as long as I continued to let her think I was fooled, she wouldn't do anything extreme, right? If I just make sure to be careful, that should be the safest option. I've made up my mind. I'll answer the phone. Once I do that, I'll talk to her as if nothing happened. That wasn't all I'd do this time, though. I'd scope her out. Who was she? What was she thinking? And what was she after? Why was she doing this? Was she really the one who killed Tomotage-san and Takano-san? Punchy, come on, man. Answer the phone. What happened to the mayor? What happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? I reached out for the receiver, my arm trembling. There were too many things I wanted to know, too many things I wanted to ask. I was scared. I should start by picking up the phone, yes. Pick it up, Punchy. Pick it up, Punchy! Hello? Oh, how relieved I would have been if it hadn't been a call from Shion. Ah, Punchy-chan? It's me. It's Shion. My momentary convenient and above all fleeting prediction was ripped into 1,000 pieces. I couldn't help shaking at this point. Get ready for this. You took a long time to pick up. I thought you were at home and I was about to hang up. Sorry. I was, just in the bath. Did your family not pick it up for you? Could your parents be out right now, Punchy-chan? I failed. I let her on a fatal piece of information that I was currently the only one at my house. Well, no, they're not really... Anyway, have you heard? About Rika-chan and Satoko? No. What happened after that? Were they found? Nah, they weren't found. Punchy-chan, please, don't lose hope. If Ooishi-san hadn't let me know, then I might have allowed myself to shed a tear or two at Shion's considerate words. Instead, now that it come to this, I couldn't take her words at face value. This person on the other end of the receiver, the more perfect as Shion they were, the more my blood curdled in fear. Rika-chan and Satoko, they were kidnapped, weren't they? Yeah, I don't think there's much doubt. Just how cruel and grave a meaning did those words hold. Their weight astonished me. Then a moment later, I was overcome with numbness, and I felt like I would pass out. I had asked if Rika-chan Satoko had been kidnapped. She, in turn, had answered that there wasn't much doubt. That cruel meaning behind her words. Rika-chan Satoko were... no, I mean... I'm sorry. About the mayor. What do you think happened after he was kidnapped? Do you think he's still alive? What happened to Rika-chan Satoko after they were kidnapped? That's what I wanted to ask, but I frantically caught myself. What if she had given that question a terrifying response, in such a way to sound like it had nothing to do with her? I was scared of that, so I immediately brought up the mayor. That said, however, how much I talked about the memory, I think he was killed. Oh, that sound happened way before I read this. I was getting shivers before I even knew anything. Hey, wait, that was quick? I think it must be really hard to kidnap someone and keep them like they are. As long as they're not hostages, it would be most practical to kill them once you were done with them. The world started to bend so much I almost lost my balance. The scenery in my eyes whirled around and around like the hands of a clock, and tried to swallow me whole from below. I frantically put a hand on the wall to support myself. Water break. A moment later, a severe nausea welled up within me. How was she saying such things so lightly? Kill him so readily. What is that? What is this music? This. So I'm just really startled from the change of music I've never heard before. So readily, I mean, what's a human life or two anyway? It's a horrible thing, but I think that's probably what happened. If the mayor was killed, then did that mean the same had happened to Rika-chan and Satoko? No, that couldn't. They weren't some random old man. It was Rika-chan. It was Satoko. They couldn't have killed him so readily. It's probably better to think that Rika-chan and Satoko-chan ended up the same way. What? Those are the words I want to hear at the least, so I fought them back with a scream of my own. Even though it wouldn't change anything, I still couldn't help but scream. Am I hearing the right music for this? This time, the tears flowed. I had been confronted with the most horrific outcome that I had been trying to avoid considering ever since last night, and I cried. There was no longer any doubt that it was my fault. I killed them. I killed Rika-chan Satoko. I succumbed to the weakness of my own heart and confessed everything to Rika-chan. That's why they were killed. That meant I killed them. When Rika-chan looked at me with those innocent eyes, if only I hadn't given in. Even my voice gave out, and yet still, I cried. And cried. Punchy-chan, please just try and calm down. Rika-chan and Satoko, they've been killed. We couldn't even find their remains. I would never be allowed to even apologize to their faces. If that was to be my punishment, then how brutal a punishment it was. I think Shion tried to comfort me, but I didn't hear any of it. This sounds like a RPG, like JRPG battle song or something. What are you going to gain by doing that? They're definitely going to target you and me next. Please, I'm asking you, get a hold of yourself. Please. Please. Shion was shouting and imploring me with a voice that sounded like tears were in her eyes. However, I was coming to hate the sound of that voice more and more. This Shion killed them. I had no doubts that this person killed them. Why? 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 Why can't I have someone and then kill them? Screw curses. Are people's lives really that cheap? Erasing them and killing them without a second thought like this. You're right. You're absolutely right. It would take a demon. I felt like crushing the receiver in my hand. How long? This person planned on acting like it was someone else's problem. There was magma in the pit of my stomach, and it felt like it was going to erupt at any moment. Hey Shion, please tell me, why did Hinozawa start needing someone to die on the night of the Watanagashi? That's what I'd like to know. The fighting over the damn project is already over and done with. Haven't enough people been cursed already? Why is it? Why? If there's a reason, then say it now. I was incoherent at this point. My emotions had broken through the dam inside of me, rushing forth, and I couldn't stop them. These were not simple questions. This was an interrogation. Shion herself hadn't realized it yet. It was just too funny. It was so funny that I couldn't stop crying. I understand how you feel, Punchy-chan. I really do. The dam wars ended a long time ago. Yet murders and disappearances keep happening every year under the guise of Ooishi-sama's curse. Why? Why is it happening? Some of them had nothing to do with this, and some of them didn't deserve to be cursed, so why? Why? That's what I'm asking you! I want to know that as much as anyone. Both our ragged breaths could be heard over the phone. Listen. Ooishi-sama's curse never existed. It's too unrealistic. Just like you said, someone in the village is usually the grand name of Ooishi-sama's curse as a justification for continuing these murders and disappearance every Watanagashi, abusing the grand name. They were cunning. They've been using the curse as a convenient tool and made a system where they would get rid of 2 enemies in the village every year. And this year, that system killed Takano and Tomitake-san. And why wasn't that enough? Why did the man Rikuchan and Satoko have to get killed too? I don't give a shit about the past. The only thing I care about is why Rikuchan and Satoko needed to be killed. Why is that? I didn't say a word to Satoko, you know? Why even her? Why? My god. That music, it was, making me really nervous in a different way than Higurashi usually does. A silence fell between us. Shion didn't answer for a while. Punchy-chan, please, stop being mean. Weirdly, I started talking, but, the cord plugged into my microphone, came off because it was just as hyped up as I was now. Basically I was saying how, I mean, obviously this could be Mion trying to get information out of us. Like, that's how she figured out that Rika knows, and maybe sent people to kidnap her as she was talking to them. But also, because we know in the beginning that Mion didn't like the kind of attention she was getting from Punchy. Like, he treated her as a hey dude, like a friend that was a boy. But it looks, thinking from the beginning with the thing with Rena getting the doll instead of Mion, she kind of wanted to be seeing more as a girl. So what if she's pretending to be Shion because she knew that Shion got Punchy to see her differently than like just a friend. This is messed up though. That music from before, that was messed up. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. I'm gonna do just a burst of recordings, hopefully upload 2 today, depends on the processing time. Yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.